Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back for some more EVE Online and welcome on my trade run to Jita at this point, because I'm doing this pretty regularly. I do think I want to share with you guys this experience and my thoughts around what I try to do in the Jita market when I do find my way here, and which is at this point quite a couple of times a week actually. So let's start with the regular stuff. You can see that I just produced some BPCs, so we are going to take a look at my contract situation. So if we go to contracts, you can see that I can make 8 more contracts. Now this may seem like not a lot, but that is because, well, every time I come here I do try to refill my contracts, so I can just keep selling and actually try to make more ISK by moving more products. 2 of them that always do work well are definitely the Orca blueprints and then the freighters. These are going sometimes at very high prices. So let's take a quick look at the Orca situation. 11 million, that's actually decently low. It's only 2 of them at this point. Then we're going for 15. That is mostly what I can compete with and sell just below. So I'm actually going to risk that at this point. I am going to create this contract for 14.9. 12 to 14 is usually what I manage to sell. So let's be like a little aggressive in the price here. Let's finish the first one and then we can make a copy for the second one. Usually what I would have done when I would only come here like once a week, I would put up all of these Orca blueprints because it's a decent amount of ISK. But now, knowing that in a couple of days I'll probably be back here, I'm gonna stop at 2 and I'm gonna hope that by then they sell, and then I've got 2 others ready. If the prices go up, perhaps I can get an even better price. Now let's take a look at the 3 freighters that I brought as well. Here is the Charon blueprint, and you can see 14.5 million, nope, 16.5 million in Jita. That's better than an Orca BPC for something that takes just about the same amount of time, a 1 week research job for a copy. So let's put this one at like 15.9, try to get the lowest price, but not undercut by too much. These usually sell like hotcakes. I basically don't produce enough of them to saturate the market. So that one goes in here. Next we've got the obelisk. Usually not that great, but still a pretty respectable price. Let's take a look at that one. 14 million ISK for the lowest one. And I think, yeah, this one is very much in line with the Orca. So we're gonna go with 14 as well. Well, no, let's do 39. Just to try and get that next sale, since I only here move 1 a week at this point. But then the Providence last time was crazy high. It's come down a little bit, but let's take a look at the prices in station. 20 million ISK, that's not bad, right? 25% more, something like that, than most of the others. And last week I sold these for 30 million ISK. So this comes into play pretty damn quickly. You can see that it's quite some undercutting action. Just half a dozen orders that are driving the price down from 29 million to 20 million. So here we're just going to compete right with the latest one. We're going to put that down at 20 as well. Normally we can actually get more out of a Providence BPC than that. It is pretty damn amazing. And that makes 5 of them. So I have 3 more remaining. 1, 2, 3 for the 3 structures. Should be fine. These are basically you know, my bread and butter. 3.5, that's not so much, but 2.9, it still yields me a profit compared to the cost of making these BPCs, so that is absolutely fine. Let's take a look at the Astros blueprints, see what the price is going for. Also 3.5 million for a small structure. I'd say slightly below average, but nothing too crazy either. And then the Atnor I think is slightly better, because of course that's what you want to put on moons if you want that extra mining. And there it is, 6 million, 6.8 million. So we're gonna try to go for 5.9 and get that sale. And with that, we only had to fill in 8 orders to get all my contracts back up and running. And we've got another 6 at decent prices, especially the Orcas, of course, if I happen to get a couple sales in the first few days. So my turnaround with this new way of focusing on industry and trade is definitely allowing me to sell more of these contracts, but it's also a little bit more competitive. I do notice from time to time that some of them do lapse after the 4 weeks, because I tend to fill still up behind or below some of my own orders from time to time. So that's a lesson that I'm learning. Next up, let's take a look at the stuff that I have produced. So of course, missiles still doing really well. Let's take a quick look at this. Average price 173 for the Inferno cruise missiles. I'm starting to have an effect on the market. 169 just a week ago. I think this was going for like 190-ish. I think here was the price range. So yeah, putting some extra attention on that does mean more competition, but compared to the minerals that I put into making these, this is actually still not a bad price. So let's just try to go straight for 169. I only sell 10k at a time, so usually my sell order gets picked up decently quickly rather than 0.1ing me. I think there's ways to look at it like that. Next up here, 254 average, 299. This one still has a very nice premium, so we're gonna try and sell this one for 299 round like that, and eventually, you know, it's only 10,000 units this will trigger. Let's take a look at the next one here. For the first time we're seeing the problem. 158, I try to undercut by quite a bit. 149, sometimes, yeah, people say 10,000 units. No, we're gonna start competing with that and look at them driving the price down. Here you have to make like a little bit of a choice. Do you think that you have to keep undercutting, or do you wait? I'm actually gonna wait. I'm gonna try in my next trip, see if the price is still like that, and I maybe try to switch my production a little bit. So I'm basically gonna keep these as a way to keep an eye on the product. This one, 58 for the average price, still going for above 60. That's not bad. And you can see none of my orders still remain, so my selling works. And here my normal thinking would be just 59. Pretty attractive. Definitely you need to break through the 60 barrier to go to that. I think people will just grab that very quickly. Inferno light missiles, 16.5. I don't see my sell order anywhere. 15.6, so that's pretty much right on the money. Here I'd actually go pretty aggressive and maybe go for something like a 16.49, just 0.1, because it's also 50,000 units. So I'm hoping that I can basically catch a wave here and still grab this price. Next up, Mjolnirs. Here I again have products here, average price 14.9, and they're starting to compete around that price as well. So here we're gonna wait and see again, rather than put more stuff on the market. Same with the Nova light missiles. Of course, these are small missiles, faster to produce. I also produce 50,000 units at a time, just to get at least to some volume, and it's harder to sell. You can see we're at 39,000 out of the 50,000, and then the undercutting has actually started. Average price 10.6 though, so we still have a little bit of room here. I might want to be a little bit aggressive. Let's just see what the impact on the market is. If I really undercut, I want to sell these for 12.5. It's quite a bit of a difference compared to these guys, but it's still above the average price that's indicated, so it should be well above my margin for production as well. Inferno torpedoes should be fine. Yeah, look at that. Don't have that many sellers. Buyers are up to 320. Average price 371, 435 for the sellers. That's a lovely margin. Inferno torpedoes, one of the best performance, I would say. 4 million for this batch. I'm not sure exactly what it costs in minerals, but it's a lot less than that. I would not be surprised if it's less than 2 million, like 1.5 or something like that. Pretty good margin. And then Mjolnir torpedo, we're in the opposite, although coming from the same place, right? 389 was an aggressive order, and now they're undercutting each other to 329. I'm not gonna crash this market by putting even more stuff on the market. We're gonna wait for this to trigger, then we're gonna try again at the nice price. And then the Nova torpedoes average is 299, 310 for the prices, and you can see here I managed to usually sell my price, and that would be because on this one I think I'd go with 299. Just give me the average price, I'd be very happy with that. Move the product quickly. I'll be back in a couple of days with more perhaps, and I will see how that works out. Although my next batch is actually a plan to go for to go for stuff like some modules. I'm curious to see how those sell. Things like this. Here is, for instance, the medium shield booster. Average price 23,800, was positive in the market, in the industry window as well. So I can definitely try to sell that. Let's say 24.9, something like that. Hope that my 20 gets picked up. It's only 500,000, but you know, we're starting to grow our trying to grow our business here. And then these 1.56, 1.8 million, that should definitely sell as well for, let's say, 1,750. So that's a BPC that dropped from my exploration. I made these and now I can try to sell them. And so this is the regular stuff. Sell what I produce, including the BPCs, and then just try to grow the wallet. I can definitely prepare my trip back because, well, what I run out most quickly is titanium and pyrite. So let's do another load of titanium. We try to sell, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen million here in stuff and a lot more in the BPCs. We go back with 3.5 million and it still keeps the ovens turning at this point. So that is pretty damn good. Now I'm doing some other things as well, of course, while I am here in Jita. So you can see here's an overview of what I'm trying to sell. Most of it is in Jita, and what I actually wanted to show you guys is this here. In my wallet, in my market transactions, let's take a look at where stuff moves. So you've got the Jita, then you've got Inamar, right? We've got some Ice Harvester upgrades, but that's basically one order that cost all of these. And then look at Jita, get quite a few sales here, a few Inamar, but Jita is dominating by a wide margin. Here, one order in Inamar, just in the middle of a sea of Jita orders, couple in Dital as well. I'm actually surprised most of that stuff has sold that I put up through the video. I think on a weekly basis, selling in Dital is something that will be in the books. But here again, just look at all of these Jita transactions. That is absolutely the dominating factor. It is such a big market. Stuff just moves that much more quickly there that I'm basically at this point thinking I'll probably do something like 3 Jita trips, 1 to 2 MR trips, and then 1 Dital trip every week in order to find the most balanced way of selling and in order to try and you know, get the most out of my activities, out of my industry activities in EVE Online. But yeah, stuff moves very quickly in Jita. Now, one note here in these market transactions, it's actually someone from Help Chat that noticed this. There is now no way to search for the transactions of a certain product. That's definitely a big loss to the new wallet, because before you could have, before you put up a market order, you could look at your latest transactions as well, just to see what has moved when, just to have a better feeling of how the market is working. So it would be great if right here next to the item type we would get a search box. I could then drag something from the market window or my market orders or something like that. You know, I'd want to check on Inferno Light Missiles. I just grab this normally, or I can do a show info. Then I would grab this, put that in a search window. That would be right here in my wallet, and then I would see all the transactions that I've done of that product. It worked in the previous market transaction window for the wallet, so it's definitely a loss and something that CCP should consider bringing back. Now going back on, since we're in the wallet anyways, look at the situation here. We definitely had a big income that dropped, but I also bought like I think 400 million in fuel or so yesterday, just to keep everything nice and smooth in the services. So we're back in the negative, but it's only by like 170 million. That's not that much. There's definitely ways to plug that gap. If we look at the detail, of course, it's mostly trade. Still impressed. 627 million in contract sales in the last 30 days. I feel like that is definitely pretty good, and I feel like this is going to go up now that I'm doing more sales of this as well. And now we get a little bit of PI commodities still up there. Some drones, that's actually the Gecko trade that I did. It was so high, had to monetize that at this point. Next idea for the Gecko, maybe I should show that on the market then as well. Let's browse for the Gecko and look at that price history. if you look at this chart, I mean, I had to take advantage of it. This were in fact very old geckos that I had bought for 80 million ISK, and I sold them for more than double, 180, 179. I think that was the price that I tried to sell them at. I had to take advantage of this rise on that gecko investment. Next thing we'll be waiting for, maybe EVE anniversary, maybe one of the PvP events, maybe something that happens that brings us new geckos to the game, crash that price down, then I'm jumping back in, because that was very, very nice, right? Over 100% profit on a trade, even though it took a decently long time. That was absolutely amazing. This was an increase I just could not let go of. So that's that drone trade. And then, yeah, ships, it's not that much, but that's some Tech 2 trading. PI is still pretty big. In fact, I need to move some of the products from my planets here as well. And that is the situation on my sales. But what else have I done? Look at here at the loyalty points, something that we quite often forget. I was actually expecting for things to go pretty badly for a while, which is why I never actually covered that. But if you look at my stuff that I still have to sell, it's mostly just the leftovers from my exploration runs, of course, you can imagine, right? Stuff like metals, munitions that drop there, stuff from data sites and things like that. But here is what I did. I converted loyalty points into some of these implants. Let's take a look at these markets as well for this video then. This is basically what I think is going to keep me cash flow positive pretty damn easily. If I find a little bit more time, because right now it's actually pretty busy for me personally, then I'll get into some DLP as well, hoping that those implants will sell for a good price, and all of that should definitely keep my wallet nice and healthy. But yeah, let's look first of all at these regular stats implants. So they're just attribute enhancers that help you train more quickly. And cybernetic subprocessor, we're coming from a 1-year high of almost 24 million ISK. Sellers are still at 21.7. That is not bad. I honestly expected a December-January crash, because the new wallet should have put the LP at the forefront, and I can imagine that a lot of people would be like me and find out, oh, there's still lots of corporations with a lot of LP. That's still 30,000 LP. That's a lot of potential implants for me to make. Same with Federal Navy Academy and the Theology Council. All of this can be turned into liquid ISK. I thought we would actually see an increase in supply and a decrease in price of all of these implants, but the opposite seems to be the case. So these, for instance, I definitely want to sell them. I don't think we'll get a much better price than like 21.5 million. So let's put this sell order up as well. 21.5. 3 months, we're still below average, as you can see, and that's another cool 40 million. I'd say that is definitely pretty nice. Let's go back down here and take a look at some of the other ones. So these are pretty cheap ones, right? At 1 million, you can see those don't move that much. But once we go into the higher range, let's see if I can find this, for instance. Here's the limited ocular, average price 4 to 5 million, currently selling for 5.9 million. That is definitely well above average as well, and quite a surprise. As I've said, what else are you gonna do with your LP? Then mostly turn it into implants. I thought we would see the exact opposite, so I'm gonna try to sell these for, let's say, 5,890. Yeah, let's be a little bit aggressive with that one. That's 20% above average. Not bad, and it's still the cheapest sell order in Jita. I'll take that for sure. And now let's take a look at just a couple more, because I also invested in... this is a little bit more expensive as well. Ocular filter basic. Look at that. Normal price 9 million and below. Now 1 year high 10 million plus for the ocular filter basic. That's not bad. We also have some other ones. Here is that I basically invested in. I thought they'd be more popular. Missile stuff, shield stuff, mining related stuff I think is always pretty good. This one definitely above average. Next up, the Zen snapshot light missiles. Yeah, I'd say that that's trading above average here as well. And we've got... There was another one, I checked it, that was very pronounced. Look at this. This one is just recovering, but it went above 40 million, and the volatility on this one is pretty damn amazing. So in fact right now it's selling for 33 million ISK. I'd say that's a bad price for this one. You can try to sell it for over 40. And then we got some more expensive ones here, 108 million ISK. But look at that, the trend on the 20-day moving average is just shy of 30 million ISK. Sellers are in fact at 36.5 million for something that's valued at 27, well above average. It's actually a great time to turn your LP into implants and to try to take advantage of these prices. Now we're a little bit late on some of them. Here's the Xanu Bean Counter RX802, just coming from a 1-year high of around 40 million ISK at the high point. That's kind of crazy. We're already back down to 24 million, but look at that opportunity that was created there. Pretty damn amazing, and I think this one is actually doing well right now. Yeah, the a shield one going for 155 million ISK, pretty easy. Average price 135, maybe 130, something like that. Yeah, a very big surprise, and something that I wanted to add in this video as well. The implants are actually doing really well. They're pretty high in price. One of the explanations, of course, we just had like 30,000+ players at the same time on the server, something we haven't seen in a while. So it's pretty obvious that with the winter we have people coming back into the game, and CCP is actually doing a pretty good job apparently of keeping players interested in the game. I hope that the quadrants will be very successful, of course, because then we can sell these implants for even more. But basically this is stuff that I do almost every day in EVE Online. Build stuff, sell stuff, try to get the best price, try to find the best markets to sell them at, and I definitely wanted to share this this bit of information with you guys. Loyalty points very accessible at this point, right? Fitport, you can always just set destination to the closest station. Sometimes you gotta go into risky space, but sometimes you don't have to go too far. Turn that into implants right now is a pretty damn good time to do so. A lot of them, if not most of them, are selling well above average. And that's it for this video, guys. I'll keep you guys up to date, but now we're definitely looking forward to the January release, the start of the PvP quadrant in EVE Online, and let's see what CCP has planned for us. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.